It's Maggie with Healthy Holistic Living, and today on my mind is slouching. Oh, even just saying it, I'm like, why are my shoulders? Am I standing up straight? Chin back? Oh man. Sometimes I'm not, like I'm lifting my shoulders, but I don't know that I'm lifting my shoulders. Or somebody says, well, just relax. And I think like, okay, I'm gonna drop my shoulders. And then sort of like, no, really relax. I'm like, I've dropped my shoulders. And I physically feel like I can't. Like I physically can't stand up straight, or I physically can't drop my shoulders, or I look in the mirror and I think that I'm standing up straight, but I've got a rounding curvature in my spine, or my hips are tilted. And that's what I want to talk about, not just the effort in which somebody or you or I are trying to stand up straight, but what are some of the structural dysfunctions that inhibit us from standing up straight, and some helpful tools of what to do with them. I've chosen 4 because those are primarily the 4 that I see in my office and the 4 that we see just in populations. This might fit you. You might have something else contributing to this. We're not going to get into necessarily spinal conditions like lordosis and scoliosis, but keep watching for videos on those things. We're just talking about the upper back, primarily dowager's hump, kyphosis, ventral drag, and medial rotation. So those are the 4 we're going to cover, and then what can we do about it to lift our structure and unroll and uncoil our body. So the one that I see a lot is dowager's hump. Dowager's hump is primarily talking about C7. So we have the cervical vertebrae, and that's through your neck, the C1 through C7. C7 is the bumpy one that most people can feel on themselves. So C7, dowager's hump. Now, what happens, what usually causes this is kind of the chin jet. So this could be caused because we're trying to engage the suboccipital muscles. Those are the muscles right at the back of the base of the skull. They help to stabilize our vision. So if we're driving a car and then we jet our chin out, we call it chin jet. Or if we're sitting at our computer and we're trying to see our monitor. Or even at the movie theater and we're trying to really see the movie, we engage those muscles, jetting our chin out. Now what happens here is because the spine was made to be stacked on top of each other. Now I've got some natural curves in the spine, but if I start to fall into that curve and I start to jet my chin forward, right on C7 needs an anchor. It needs something to help hold it if the head is gonna move out here, because we're combating gravity. And gravity works in our body from the feet and the ankles up. So if I get all the way up to the shoulders and then my head goes forward, I need like a pendulum swing to hold the head not being properly stacked in that curvature of the neck, but now I'm giving way and jetting my chin forward. Fascia is a dense irregular connective tissue that compartmentalizes the body and supports the body, keeping all of the alignment properties of the muscles, the fibers going in the right direction. It helps to hold our forearms together, and our like everything in the body is wrapped in fascia and then wrapped in more fascia. It's the saran wrap of the body. So if I'm constantly jetting my chin forward and I'm falling away to gravity, then my body stacks a whole bunch of that tissue support and that silly putty saran wrap Elmer's glue like substance right on that C7, so that as I jet my chin forward and the weight of my head, I don't topple over forward, give way to the rest of my spine, which we have seen. If somebody doesn't fall to dowager's hump, they fall to kyphosis, or that hunchback, which is the next one we're talking about. Kyphosis, we have natural kyphotic curves in our spine. We have natural lordotic curves in our spine. But when they're exaggerated, that's when the osis shows up. Osis means something's wrong. So kyphosis, something's wrong in the kyphotic curve of whichever curve we're talking about. We're gonna address the thoracic region in the upper back. So this is the hunchback. So it's called kyphosis, and it's an exaggerated curvature in the upper back in the thoracic region. This typically happens when somebody is shy about their height and they're trying to shorten for the crowd, or a female whose breasts are very large that can become very heavy. This also will contribute to one of the next ones we're talking about, ventral drag. Kyphosis can also, if you are a female and you developed very early and you were timid or shy about this, This one and medial rotation. Medial rotation, I'm rotating in the shoulders, happens with slouching or just having bad posture. Learned behaviors where I see somebody else walk like that, so I learn how to walk like that. So it just depends on where your slouching occurs. Where did you get lazy in your body? Kyphosis happens in that spine. Medial rotation is just the shoulders. The reason I bring those two up together is it could just be because we're forward creatures. We drive the car and carry the backpack and hold the baby and do the dishes and we push the grocery cart and everything we do is forward, and few of us are still working the fields and really back laboring tasks, as we have seen in the history, which are natural back builders that work our body in this back direction. The more we modernize and the more we get convenient with driving our car and we just drive through, or I sit at my computer, or all of these convenience pieces, we're sort of catering towards an improper structure. Medial rotation is just rolling inward. This is still just typically from our lifestyles, like the backpack and the car is huge, or if you work forward. We see this as common at like grocery clerks, and I'm taking things and scanning them across the conveyor belt. Everything's forward and I'm in a stagnant position standing still. So it's easy to compensate for movement in my shoulders or upper back. Massage therapists, we run into this a whole lot because we're working forward. If you work in a factory, if you work with your hands, computer, all of those just kind of roll this over. Ventral drag is our last one. So ventral drag is talking about our clavicles, the collarbone, that's what it's called on the street. So the clavicle or the collarbone, when I am particularly in a sitting position and I get really like fascially stuck in my ribs and my abs, that will pull everything forward. It also contributes with medial rotation or kyphosis, or I've got Dowager's hump, where the clavicle, where it hooks to, I've got the clavicle that hooks to the sternum, and this whole structure starts to pull downward because I'm slouching, because I'm getting lazy. And as that fascia builds and holds in my abdominal structure, now it's really hard for me to stand up straight. Just like if I've got a lot going on in my upper shoulders and all the tension and the fascia that's holding it, it's really hard for me to drop my shoulders. Or if I really do want to work on Dowager's hump and pull my head back, I almost feel like I can't because it's stuck. Well, you're right, because that structure there, that fascia that's there to help support you, is now holding you in place. So we're going to learn what to do about it. What's important to know and remember about the body is that we are a tensegrity model. So tensegrity, the integrity of tension, where we rely on the perfect amount of tension to hold our structure and shape. So if I have too much tension, particularly like pecs, we're a forward creature, we do everything forward, I'm gonna start to pull on that shoulder and pull on the back, making the back of me scream and yell and rip. If you're suffering from one of these, you probably describe your pain as like an achy, burny, or ripping sensation up on my shoulder blade, shooting through. I hear burning and aching the most, so my brain keeps going to that. Headaches, tension, physical inability to drop my shoulders and relax. This can make all kinds of secondary problems too, because our spine was made to adapt. So if I am chin-jitting and rolling forward, if I have kyphosis, if I'm ventral dragging, I'm gonna start to experience a lot of pain in my upper back. But that's not where the problem is. The problem is here. The problem is here. The problem is here. I have to be able to release that tension of locking down in order to free the pain. If you think about the body as a bridge, the beams are our structure and the cables are the muscles. So if you're kind of picturing like, here's my head and I've got my pec muscles on this side and my rhomboids, those are those back muscles that are like screaming at you all the time, on the back side. If my pecs lock down, I will forever be chasing the pain in my back because I'm gonna go after pain. But if this is the beam, so here's the rhomboids and I've pulled down with the pecs, now these guys are screaming because they're ripped in and oh my gosh, and holding on for dear life. No matter how many times I try to fix this and soothe it and duct tape it and glue it and put more cable on, until I address the bullies on this side, those pec muscles yanking on the bones to rip at the muscles, I'm always just gonna be chasing these rhomboids all the time. So what we need to do is soothe the back muscles and then lengthen the pec muscles and the ab muscles that are pulling our structure forward, and then strengthen the whole thing to make sure it doesn't happen again. Luckily, with the how to strengthen, lengthen, and promote better posture, regardless of which issue you've got going on, Dowager's hump, kyphosis, medial rotation, or ventral drag, the exercises are the same. So we sort of look at this in 3 steps. You'll hear me say this a lot. 1 is identify the aggressor. What is happening that's causing this? So you need to identify, is it the car? Is it the keyboard? Is it my chair? Is it just bad body mechanics and I need to be more aware? So stop the aggressor. We need to identify where those triggers are and then stop participating in the dysfunction. When we're dealing with the damage done, we want to address the tension and the buildup and the pain. So pain is an easy one for me. I always go for CBD magnesium. This is by My Core Essentials. It is such a quality product and it's easy to apply. I don't always have help, so I can always reach my own back with a spray. Just brilliant application. When I'm dealing with tension and things, outside of that MKE spray, we talk about using a towel where we can kind of twist this up and use it to work and manually manipulate the muscles. You can use a handheld vibrating machine. Just be careful that you're not causing more damage. But the idea is to break down that fascial collection. Fascia is a colloid, like butter or coconut oil, where when it's cold, it holds a very firm shape. And when it's warm, it's more palpable and pliable and moves around. So maybe it's after a hot shower that then you try to work this tissue and kind of get rid of damage done, or always go get a professional to help break that down. Structural, a therapist who speaks structural or structural integration, deep tissue therapy, myofascial therapy, myofascial release. Those are all those words that what we're talking about. Fascial is the fascia, myo is muscle. So being able to break that down. We have to lengthen the pecs, the front side. So our pecs is one of our exercises. We're going to, so in a doorway at a 90-degree angle, you'll hook onto that doorway and then lengthen the pecs. Lengthen that pec major and really just feel the stretch. You can roll away from the wall or you can lean into the wall, but just make sure that you're holding it and that you're breathing. We also never want to stretch a cold muscle because that fascia is a colloid, so doing something to just warm up the tissue and bring some blood flow in first. 90 degrees, then we're gonna raise our arm and do the same exact motion. This gets the pec minor. And then one more with a V-like dip in the elbow where we go and get the last fibers and those attachments. These are gonna help release of the tension in the muscle structure that's pulling our structure forward. The pecs have the support of the shoulder girdle to clavicle to sternum. This is bone to bone attachment. So it's easy to really work and build the pec muscles. The rhomboids, however, you've got the shoulder blade and the spine, and then the rhomboids are the connection between the two. There's no bone to bone. It's all connected with muscle, and our body is made that way to be flexible. We are forward creatures. This is called the rhomboid repatterning. So we're gonna bring our arms up, straight up, and I've got thumbs up, and I'm going to pinch the spine and relax. Pinch the spine and relax. Do this 10 times. Be careful not to pinch the spine and put your shoulders into earrings. We want to just pinch the spine and relax. When you get kind of stuck or this is hard, you can try to pinch the spine and sort of lift the sternum. This will isolate, here's your sternum. So this will isolate where it is that your muscles are contracting in, especially if you feel like when you do this, you lift in your shoulders. By lifting the sternum, it sort of forces it out of your shoulders. So pinch the spine and relax. Do that 10 times and just rest. The next time you do this activity or this exercise, we're gonna add to it. We're gonna pinch the spine and holding the contraction, bring your hands together like you're going to clap. Now, obviously, you may get that far, you might not. The secret in this is only go as far as the contraction allows. So I'm going to squeeze the spine. If right here is where my contraction starts to slip, this is as far as I go. Holding that contraction, bring my arms back out. I'll do this with thumbs up. I'll do this with thumbs in the middle And I'll do this with thumbs down. Now, you'll only do each clap 3 times. It gives you a total of 9 claps. So I do 1, bring them back out. Contract, hold, 2, and bring them back out. If you need to take a little bear break and do a little bear hug right in the middle of it, please do. And then you'll come back up and squeeze, contract the muscles, and I come back in for my clap and back out. I am done now with thumbs up. Then I'll do 3 more with thumbs in the middle and 3 more with thumbs down. Thumbs down is the hardest one. We are isolating rhomboid minor, and this one is a doozy. So contract the muscle, bring your thumbs together, and if this is as far as you go, then bring them right back out. You're gonna build on this. So do just the pinch 10 times and let the activation of those muscles feel. And then maybe put on your calendar that 2 days later, you now do 1 of each and 10 pinches. And then 2 days later, after the muscles kind of had a chance to heal, you do 2 claps each and then 10 squeezes and let it heal. You'll never go more than 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, and 10 of these. Because you don't need to. So if you can maintain that with your rhomboid, it's gonna continue to stack and continue to grow. And now the stronger it gets, it holds my posture back without me ever even thinking about it. Other exercises that we're gonna do are for the neck. So we've got 3 neck specific exercises. One's called staying alive. So I'm going to either place my body up against a wall or I can lay on the floor. I'm gonna take my chin and look down to my shoulder and then up and then down to my shoulder. These are our staying alive. Get it? Yeah, you do. So we'll do that on the one side and then one to the other side and bring that up. The next one we're gonna do is, I have to do this alone. So this one, you're welcome, is called double chin. So you'll put your head just flat and then you'll give yourself a double chin and then come back out. I'm only gonna do it that once, but it's recorded, so rewind it as many times as you need. So those are called double chins, where we're contracting the muscles behind and then relaxing. The last one is rotating on a stick. So I can look left and I can look right, but what I wanna do is pivot and circle as though my neck were a stick to look this way. This can be harder to do, so if you get a towel, you can kind of help through that turning on the floor and then turning back again. You can also use partially inflated beach balls, a little bit of air, creating a pocket that you can rotate on. So see the difference between rotating on that stick versus turning my head. So those are the 3 for my neck that are going to build up that strength to keep my head back. Being mindful and awareness is always key. So always kind of rolling your shoulders back. Your shoulders should be over your hips. But the thing that I don't want you to do is to forget and leave your chin out. So if I roll my shoulders back, then it's shoulders back, ears over shoulders. And I have to pull this back. It's gonna feel very kind of military neck for you for a while. So look at yourself in a mirror, because while you think you're double chinning and pulling your head back, you actually just find that you look like you're standing up straight. So those are my exercises for your neck and your upper back. Let me know how they go, or if you're struggling through them and need some help. You can also always get a friend to put their fingers right in your spine, and then you pinch their fingers. So that's another great way to learn how to activate this muscle. We're not getting into the gym yet. There are other exercises you can do. This is something that is easy and maintainable at your own home. So hopefully something in the video helped. Thank you for watching. And if you want more, we've got lots more education, piriformis syndrome versus sciatica, scoliosis. We're getting into health and how those contribute to postural dysfunction. Definitely, if you have not looked into the MyCore Essentials CBD Magnesium Spray, I would highly suggest it if you're struggling with any type of dysfunction or pain. This is huge. CBD is incredible for releasing of tension and helping to bring down inflammation. Magnesium is huge for neurological and muscular development and pain, also with tension and inflammation. This is kind of an awesome kill find. So this is that CBD hemp spray, and I don't know what I'd be doing without it. Thanks for watching, you guys. Your body's worth it. So put forth the effort and let us know if you need any support from everybody here at Healthy Holistic Living.